Welcome all the weirdos. Welcome to the Weirdoverse. This is Ashley Shue on Weird Wide Podcast. Entering in for the first time with JD Ross.
Hey, hey.
And Bethany Marshall.
Hey.
Hi. Trying to do my best at the intro.
Oh, that's right. This is your very first intro on camera, isn't it?
I'm popping it.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
All right.
It's great.
I'm hitting.
I'm digging it. I love it.
Okay. So we're trying to mix it up so that all of us do take our turn so that JD's not like carrying the show.
Appreciate that.
We vaginas got to take over here and there.
I know. Girls rule the world, girls, or whatever the song says.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're like,
I thought
that's
girls
a different
just wanted
one.
to have fun.
That's if you like
one.
it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we don't need that shit because we're a strong, independent
All
women.
the single ladies.
No, those single ladies be hitting. So, I'm gonna open us with some weird news, but in case you're wondering, we're hitting it today with some aliens.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
My favorite.
I know we
So
love the
JD
fucking
and
alien
Bethany
stories.
are gonna be hitting us with the aliens, but weird news. Since I enjoy the weirdness of the news, I'm gonna hit that first.
Take us into some weird news. What you got?
So, I downloaded this Mirror app. I guess it's like some kind of like weird, I don't know, what would you call it? Tabloid?
yeah, kind of a
stuff.
tabloid. Thing.
So there was this one that had like this creepy picture on it that I was like, okay. Evidently it's from the UK. It's about a little boy, 9 years old. It's labeled boy 9 sneaks downstairs for midnight snack, then makes mortifying discovery.
Oh
Oh
shit.
God.
Okay, so this little boy had a habit of sneaking downstairs after some good meals.
So this is a little British boy. So.
Little British boy.
Oh, I'm just gonna pop on down and we're gonna get myself some cookie. No, he's gonna get biscuits.
Oh, he's gonna get a little cup of
Biscuits.
tea.
He's gonna
Yeah,
get a cup of tea and biscuits.
yeah. So evidently he snuck downstairs in the summer. It doesn't say when, but I imagine that it's fairly current.
Fairly recent, yeah.
It's the boy was actually wanting the remainder of his sweet and sour pork. So I'm assuming they went to some kind of
Okay.
Chinese type thing.
Oh, so he's got he's going for savory, not sweet.
Yes. So he sneaks downstairs very quietly. So he doesn't wake anybody up.
Yeah.
Gets down the kitchen that he doesn't recognize, very skinny, very strange looking, drinking milk out of the carton.
Wait, what was it again? Sorry, you
Like
actually,
a really skinny guy downstairs in his kitchen drinking milk out of the carton.
So oh my god! So there's just a dude that he doesn't recognize in his kitchen.
That he doesn't recognize. So the boy strangles the scream, runs upstairs, wakes his mom and dad up, and says, like, "Yo, there's somebody downstairs. Like, what the fuck is going on?" Dad goes downstairs to whoop somebody's ass.
Oi! What you doing in my kitchen? No, that's Australia. isn't it?
Finds no one. And they pretty much berate the boy and say, "You're full of shit.
Yeah.
Go back to bed.
Also, they're
You're just
gaslighting
trying to
him
be an
already.
Yeah. So leave it to this 9-year-old kid to be like, "Yo, I know I seen something."
I'm picturing a British Kevin McAllister at this point.
Yeah.
He's
So
determined.
So he started.
Yes.
So evidently, he started paying really close attention to where everything was in the house.
Yeah.
Like he would purposely place stuff like a napkin holder, like weird stuff in
Yeah.
the refrigerator to see if it would move. And one day he got up. There's a cup in the sink that he knew nobody used the night before. You know, like weird stuff. Okay.
Oh, shit.
So he lays down in bed one night. There, you know how there's vents in the ceiling.
Yeah.
He's laying there, looks up, and sees eyes looking at him through the vent.
Oh, fuck that.
Freaks out,
Obviously.
goes to mom and dad again and says, "Hey, there's somebody in my vent, you know, blah, 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 blah."
There's a bloke in the walls, mommy.
So,
Mummy.
so his parents, which are totally fed up with his bullshit,
So
are
I'm
like,
I've got to assume he's been talking about this like at length.
yeah. They say, "Go the fuck to bed and
Yeah.
shut up," pretty much.
Yeah.
You know? So then weeks go by and there's this weird smell
Oh God.
coming
Oh God.
from the vent. They're like, what is that? So they call an air conditioning maintenance guy to check out what's going on,
Yeah.
thinking there's like a dead animal or something in the
Yeah.
vent. Here, there's a guy dead in their ceiling with pictures all around where he had drawn the little boy from the vantage point of above.
Oh my God.
So he had been in their house living in their ceiling for months. But because something was wrong with him, I guess because the boy did say he was super skinny,
Yeah.
he ended up dying in the ceiling and rotting above this
Fuck.
kid. And the whole time this kid, there's somebody in our house, and they pretty much berate him and tell him to shut up and sit down. So the moral of the story is, if your kid comes to you with something off the cuff and strange,
Fucking listen to him.
maybe put a little stock into it.
If I was that 9-year-old, I would be putting myself up for adoption. I'm like,
oh, 100%.
No.
Could you imagine the amount of therapy that kid's gonna need?
Oh, it's
like,
gonna be ridiculous.
God. Like,
yeah.
And eyes, like,
well,
like,
so
hey,
that's the part that
on?
freaks me out. So, like, was he like dead at that point and just like happened to die with his eyes open, staring down at the kid?
No, he was in the cot in the ceiling. Like,
Yeah.
he made a pallet in the ceiling, so he was dead in like on the bed pallet.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
dude, I'm sorry. If I saw eyes in the fucking vent, I'd be taking a broom and just ramming it up there. I'd be like,
Well,
we're gonna
and now-
fucking solve this shit.
now
right
here
now.
I'm sitting here thinking, and after I read the story, I'm like, I would never do that. And then I'm thinking to myself, Charles didn't want to sleep on the top bunk anymore. And he's always worried about something crawling out of the vent. And now I'm like, maybe I should check some shit out.
So you gonna check your vents?
I don't know. I'm not checking nothing.
Right,
I
we
bet
can
you Ty's
hire
gonna check
people.
something.
Yeah, Ty's going over and check the vent. I ain't going over. No.
We'll hire people to check the vents because
Literally.
that's spooky.
But
Yeah.
so that's my weird news for the day.
Hell yeah.
It kind of threw me off. Yeah, and I was like, nah.
I feel like there's been like more and more stories of that kind of stuff happening.
You'd think this time this time in the world,
Yeah.
like it would be harder to do that.
You would think.
Yeah,
but it
right.
seems like there's like a spike
Yeah.
in doing that.
Well, I mean, I can see why there's a spike. Everything is so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this economy, who can
In
afford
this
not to live in
economy?
someone's attic?
Right.
I mean, but nope.
No, fuck that.
So yeah,
I've always had like this weird irrational fear that somebody's living in my walls, and it carried on to the point where I'd be in like my grandmother's car and I would hear like breathing behind the seats.
Yeah.
And I would swear up and down that there's somebody that lived in her car. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But like it's always been a thing because I think at one point I had watched a movie
yeah.
where that was a thing and somebody lived in the walls, and
Yeah.
I've just always been my kid.
the
tells me
boy.
somebody-
Mm,
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what that.
oh,
I'm
no.
not watching it.
no,
I'm not putting that one on the
nope.
list.
I guess the moral of the story is check your fucking vents.
Right.
Yeah, and
Set some traps.
don't blow off your kid.
Nah. If your kid's saying some weird shit, investigate a little bit. Just a little bit.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Yeah, at least
Definitely
least
worth
something.
investigating.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, this has been weird news. So let's get into the main topic. So Bethany and I handled the research on this episode. This is definitely one of the more infamous, probably I would argue the most famous of the UFO abduction cases. What do you think?
See, I'm trying to look at it from like the outside perspective of
Yeah.
people who don't dive into aliens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Hi,
Probably-
that's me.
That's us. But I think it's probably definitely one of the more famous.
Yeah, I would say so. So today we are talking about Betty and Barney Hill. We are going all the way back to the 1960s. This is early 60s too. So like I don't even think we've gotten into the groove yet. When was the groovy part of the 60s? It was like midway through, right?
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it was like mid 60s is
Yeah.
when things started
Yeah.
to get real groovy.
Well,
Yeah.
like 69, wasn't that Woodstock, one of the Woodstock
I
69?
think so. So we were still 8 years away from that. So it still kind of felt like a little bit like the 50s
yeah.
back then. So we're talking about 1961. We're talking about Betty and Barney Hill. Now, one of the interesting things it's one of those things you just have to kind of point out is Betty and Barney Hill were actually an interracial couple in 1961. This is actually before the civil rights movement like really took steam. So that was a pretty noteworthy thing.
No, no, no.
Well, I don't know. I almost wonder if that's part of the reason they were chosen, to be honest, like something like that.
That's actually a good. I never looked at it from that
No.
kind of perspective because, with it being essentially they're observing us.
Exactly.
And like this is look at this rare pairing.
Yeah, exactly. Like a rare pairing. Plus, Barney was actually, I think he was certifiably a genius too, because he had an IQ of 140.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's genius
Now,
level.
who was what race?
All right, so Barney was black, Betty was
Okay.
white.
Yeah.
Barney was a postal worker, and Betty was a social worker.
Okay.
Both were also obviously members of the local NAACP chapter. They were very
Obviously,
into the
yeah.
activism, very forward-thinking types, obviously.
For their time.
For their time, I would say, just in general, really.
Yeah.
From what I
Yeah.
understand, Barney was pretty smart.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Which verifies a little bit more what he's saying, I guess, because you're not going to have a rocket scientist be like, oh, I want to ruin my name by.
Well, and
Honestly, that is a very valid point because there's obviously the cases where it's like, oh, there's this random guy, he's saying this, and you see a lot of those, but when
Yeah.
you see somebody who's this genius level,
Yeah.
really smart person, really productive member of society,
Yeah.
and they're saying this sort of stuff, and it especially back then, ruins reputation.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
He was a confirmed skeptic. He did not believe in
When he was already
UFOs,
behind
aliens.
the go because on top of that he was a black man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Black man
You
in
know?
the 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a good time to be a black dude.
No.
No.
I mean, I don't know that there's really
I mean, it's
a good time.
that's true, yeah, but
Yeah.
we're not going to that.
No.
So Betty and Barney Hill, like I said, super into their community. They decided to take a honeymoon trip. I think they're originally from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I think it was a honeymoon, but I'm not one. I've seen a couple conflicting things.
I think I everything that I read said it was a honeymoon as well.
Yeah. So they went up to Niagara Falls. They apparently had a great time, and they're on their way back. It was a 3-day trip, and they decided it was they're going to try to get a jump on, just get the trip out of the way in the night. They were going to think about leaving them in the next morning, but they decided to leave that night. This was I believe the 21st, September 19th, 1961, is when they made their fateful trek. This is something that would change their lives forever. They never, ever expected this shit to happen. So they're driving along the highway from Niagara Falls back to Portsmouth. And all of a sudden, Betty starts kind of seeing an object in the sky. But it didn't really start to get sinister right away. They both thought that it was like, okay, maybe it's a satellite, maybe it's a plane. I'm pretty sure Barney was a World War II vet, so he was just like over here. No, that's just a plane. That's just a plane.
Yeah.
That's all.
Very skeptical. Like,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I
the
kinda
rational
get that.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It's definitely, you can't just think everything's
Yeah.
weird, Betty.
Right.
Yeah.
We're driving at
It's-
night. The road's hypnotizing you.
Right.
Like,
You're
that's-
tired.
Yeah. Yeah. You see all kinds of shit when you're in that kind of state.
Exactly.
Yeah. But she was like drawn to it. So she's literally just like, binoculars out, and like it starts to kind of like look like it's moving towards them. And again, Barney's just like, it's just a plane.
And they're
all
in
it
their
is.
car.
They're in their
Yeah.
car driving. Yep.
Okay.
So they're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden it starts to really get closer. And she's over here looking and she's like, that is not an airplane. Like, she is insistent. That's not a satellite. That's not an airplane. That's something else entirely. I don't know what the fuck it is. And then it really started to like hang with them. And that's one of the creepy parts. Cause like in this particular case, the aliens really went out of their way to make contact with these two particular people.
Yeah, it is really it's a case where they're like, huh, these ones right here. Because wasn't it like I believe I remember reading something and they were like driving through the mountains and everything. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not easy. It's not even like an easy
Like, were they trying to
vehicle
lose
follow.
them driving through, or just
Not
driving?
not that I was not that I had read.
So they didn't
No.
try to like get untailed.
No, they weren't
Yeah.
trying to give them. They weren't trying to give it the slip, but they were concerned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it started to get weirder, and it started to get like more and more like that fucking thing is fucking following us. Like after a while, it gets to a point where it's like you're not even using the binoculars. Like, that thing is like right up here.
Yeah.
And are we
whoa.
talking like old school flying saucer that you draw when you're 5?
Oh yeah, we'll get to
Or-
it, but it was basically
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's the classic
Jumping the gun.
jumping the gun, jumping the shark a little bit. Like I will say, it is the classic like round UFO.
Okay.
But yeah, they're driving and like even Barney's starting to get a little freaked the fuck out.
And rightfully so, because at that point, when you're starting to realize, okay, this isn't a star, this isn't like I was gonna say like the International Space Station, but I don't think
I
that
don't even
was
know if
at
that was a
all a
thing.
thing.
We were
back
firmly in the Cold War at that point.
Yeah. But that's always
We
like
were
one
more
of my
likely to get
go-tos.
nuked at the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
That was-
Actually,
that's always one of
I think
my
the Cuban Missile
go-tos.
Crisis was right around then, so you're right.
It's always one of my go-tos though. When I start thinking like people come to me with their stories and I'm like, okay, was it the ISS?
Yeah.
Was it what's Elon Musk's satellites?
Oh, Starlink?
Yeah, those ones all
Yeah.
the time. That's always
Well,
Which,
yeah,
have you-
because nowadays
seen
there's just a
those?
fuck ton of stuff in the sky right now.
I know. Have you seen Starlink satellites though?
I haven't.
It's weird.
Yeah?
I can see why people and I know what it is.
Yeah.
Like when I saw it, I was like, that is aliens. And I was like, wait, no, that's Starlink.
That's Starlink.
Like,
That's all it is.
100%. But it's weird to see.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Now there were satellites in orbit back then.
Yeah.
Betty was actually really interested in the idea of satellites. Like at first she thought it was a satellite. She was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I love satellites. Like I'm gonna fucking." She's like all into it until it started to get fucking weird. Until it was obviously not a
Not.
fucking satellite.
Until they realize, like, okay, this is following us.
Yeah. And like that's when it started to get like they started to kind of freak out a little bit more. Barney even like again, I can't say this enough. He was a confirmed skeptic. He was like, aliens aren't fucking real. This is ridiculous. I'm not entertaining this. Like even when it's happening a little bit, he's like, okay, I'm speeding up, but I'm still not sure we should be concerned. Until it got to a point
It's
where
kind of like the 9-year-old's parents.
it's exactly like the 9-year-old's
Yeah.
parents. Like he's like gaslighting himself as it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which again, that's I think another reason you have to kind of like take the cultural like time period and who you're actually dealing with here, because like this is somebody that out of like sheer survival would have had to have like lived with paranoia and you
Oh,
know
yeah.
kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know what I mean? Like
I'm not sure, but it's definitely like an instinct to kind of like watch your back.
Yeah.
Because that
You're
was
talking
the
like
time period.
prejudice?
Yeah. Like
yeah. Because
Because
I mean,
that was definitely a thing, especially for an interracial couple.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Even
Like-
in New Hampshire.
Yeah. You're watching your surroundings.
Mhm.
You're a little paranoid
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, like there's never a full like, okay, everything's good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So Barney's driving and it's starting to get to a point where it's like there's like no one else on the road. That's the other creepy part is there's no one else on the road.
Yeah.
And he starts speeding up. He's like trying to get the fuck away from this thing. Like they buzzed a diner at one point. There was a control tower as they went over one of the mountains that actually did register. This is one of the things that I do like about this because it was substantiated by the military because they did track it later on. They were able to confirm at this time when they would have been going through these mountain passes that there was something on radar that they couldn't identify.
That sort of stuff always freaks me out so bad
Me
too.
too.
Because it's like, oh yeah, haha, tra-la-la, fun and whatever. And then
Mhm.
it's like, oh, then also the military is watching, and here's like proof of like air
Mhm.
traffic control towers talking about it. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, and you
okay.
know they're
All
never
right,
giving you the full
surrounding
truth.
check. Am I good?
Yeah, literally. See, this is why I
Right.
got a wall here because I can see
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
going on.
That's what I have
Nah.
Lincoln for.
That's true. I got Spooky. She'll be mean, but she's not going to do
Right.
much.
Usually it's Stuart, but with this one, I'm a little more paranoid, so I got the horse.
Yeah. Yeah. The beast from the Sandlot.
Aw, Lincoln.
So then the whole
He doesn't even. He's just like whatever.
He's like,
Yeah,
"Whatever,
dude, not a
he's had a
care in the
rough day.
world.
He's had a
Yeah.
rough day. But so it gets to a point where the thing is like visible and they're able to see it, and then it kind of like pulls up in front of them, and like Barney slams on the brakes, and they stop in the middle of the highway. And this is again, I guess this is one of those things because I feel like the same thing happened with Travis Walton, where like this is an objectively bad decision, in my opinion.
You know what's really funny is I was making comparisons to I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that saw Indrid,
Yeah,
comparisons with him with
Yeah.
this story.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's the similarities to that too.
Well, yeah, because like there's always this situation, and I feel like no matter what, it would have gone the way the aliens wanted.
Mhm.
But he basically like they stop the car. He's got his pistol. He's ready to start fucking plugging, and he just tells Betty, he's like, stay in the car, and he gets out, and this is the Travis Walton part where he just like starts walking towards the craft, and this is the creepy part because he like.
Who would fucking do that?
So many people in these stories. Fucking Bethany
Me.
would.
Me.
You know, you
I
would
would pet
be
it.
you would be the fucking Travis Walton here, where you would like disappear for 5 days, and we get like charged with murder.
Yeah.
Right. You guys would definitely get charged with murder, and meanwhile, I'm chilling. Like,
No,
we're
I'd be like,
we're
you
throwing
know,
back
that
space
stupid
cocktails.
asshole. We told her to stop touching shit.
They're like, so she got abducted by aliens. Yes, you didn't
Very
murder
honestly-
her. Just come clean. We'll make it easier.
Her
for
and her fucking cloned saber-toothed fucking tiger got taken by the aliens, and they'd be like, you are fucking.
They're definitely listen. They're gonna
Yeah.
talk to Ashley, and then they're gonna send her.
I'm gonna be
away.
locked up.
Yeah. Like, okay.
They're just gonna
So
be
what
I'm,
you're
like,
I'm
telling
serious.
me-
I'm telling the truth. Watch the podcast.
they're just gonna be like, I think you need a rubber room and some of those slippy socks. Like,
Yeah. Heavy medication for this
yeah,
one.
yeah.
We're gonna need some sedatives.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll just call it a vacation.
That's a
Hell
fact.
yeah.
That's a fact.
Whatever.
Grippy sock vacation. That's the way. So he starts to hear like a voice in his head that basically starts to tell him like, yes, come towards the craft, like come towards us. And so I guess that's got to be part of it. That's got to be a factor, right?
No.
Like I wouldn't. I'd be like,
No.
no, thank you.
They'd be like in my head, like, come here. And I'd be like, no, you come here.
You come here. Psst, psst, psst.
Oh.
You
I'd be
would
like,
you would
"No,
see a gray
you."
alien and start psst, psst, psst. So Barney starts like walking slowly up to the craft. Now, Ashley, you asked about like what kind of craft it was. So
Yeah.
it was the he described it as a pancake. He described it as like pancake, like so it was like circular and it had like the windows. And Betty said that like she remembers it may have been like rotating in place. There was
Okay.
a rotating action.
So
Didn't
we're
she-
getting like
didn't-
get in loser. We're doing butt stuff.
We're almost there, yeah.
Yes.
I was just asking so that I can figure out what kind you're talking about. You talking like the flying saucer in your picture behind you?
Yes,
Correct?
classic flying saucer. I
Okay.
think it was a little bit more hamburger-like, is how I've
Okay,
always
so
seen
a little thicker.
Yeah, a little bit thicker.
Okay,
And the windows, and that's an important part.
they have
That's what I was
windows.
gonna say. Didn't Betty say that through the binoculars
Mhm.
she could see beings?
She could see, I think it was about
Licking the windows.
9 to licking the windows. 9 to 12 beings. I've seen a couple different reports. So they were described as the classic gray. So we're dealing with the fucking grays. Y'all know that's the ones that freak me the fuck out the most. I swear to God, though, if you bring home like a baby gray one day,
It's absolutely a goal of mine.
what are you gonna name him?
Fuck
I
that.
know.
That's what she's gonna
Fuck
name
that.
it.
Nah, that's what you would name it. I would
Yeah.
make it like Pepperoni roll.
Pepperoni roll. All right, so we got
Yeah.
Lollipop the Sabretooth, Pepperoni roll the alien.
I'm starting to think
watched
I might be a
Stranger
fat
Things.
ass. I've
Dustin,
never,
it didn't end well for him.
That's true.
I never saw Stranger Things, so I'm
Should.
going into this with complete naivety.
You should, just for your own like safety.
You're probably right. You're probably right. But
Spoiler alert.
safe
They
sounds
get fucked.
Yep.
safe sounds so boring.
Anyway. So Betty's seeing through the binoculars. She's seeing about a dozen grays, up to a dozen grays, and they're all just kind of staring. And Barney is like also hearing the voice. He's starting to hear like the one especially is locked. And there was one that like at one point they all scatter and like went to him like, you know, fuck with some shit. But there was one that just locked in with him, and that was the one that he was saying was like speaking to him telepathically.
They came out.
They were on the ship still.
Oh.
So they're just floating. So this thing's hovering.
How did he know who was who?
Well, because it
through
was
the
like,
window.
Yeah, he saw him through the because he got up close, and so it's hovering. I would say it was about 50 feet off the ground, something like that.
I think it was something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So like enough that he was able to look up and see them, and they were looking down at him. Which I'm sorry, that is just like, could you imagine this shit?
I always, in my head, the way when I actually imagine it, I'm like, okay, that would be so cool. That'd be the coolest thing. But then I start thinking, what if this actually happened?
Right. Like
Shit
this is
my pants.
Yeah, this is fun on paper.
No.
Sort of.
It's not even fun on paper.
I mean, I
You're no
agree,
fun.
but I don't want to be fucking abducted.
Bring in the reality.
No.
Fucking
who knows?
out.
I may have been already. We never know until we get the hypnosis.
And you know what? We're gonna hopefully record that and see what we get. That's gonna be an episode in itself.
I know.
So anybody, I don't know, anybody that's had experience with that, we've asked that a couple times. Hypnotic regression.
Yeah,
I did past life regression.
Which again,
is also spooky.
Yeah, I would do that one, but
I don't think I would.
I feel like you should do like the memory regression though.
I know I want to so bad, but I'm really scared about it.
Well, and it's like Matt said, like you can't really go back once you've done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why
even the past life regression.
Same thing.
You can't forget.
Yeah.
Like what you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt Moniz of Starborn. We love that guy. He was on the show recently. But anyway, so the alien is kind of telling him to be calm. He's like basically like, hey man, just chill, just be cool. Everything's gonna be okay. Which would be fine, except all of a sudden some shit started to happen with the fucking ship. So the other ones scattered and they started working some of the machinery and stuff. And all of a sudden, like these telescoping wings, I think it's been described. They were described as like red wings, started to kind of jut out of the sides, and it looked like something was starting to come down. And the alien was telepathically just telling him the whole time, like, hey, just come towards us. Just don't worry about it. Just come towards us. Like,
easy, Barney. You're gonna get your red wings.
Yeah. Oh shit. I feel like
had
Barney
an
was
epiphany.
He had his red wings.
The aliens were ing.
They were literally. Come here, Barney.
I love them.
Barney. Come
Listen,
here, Barney.
They are so relatable.
Okay, are you part alien or something?
Probably. Are you kidding?
Well, this is when Barney made the best decision. He said, "Fuck this." He ran back. He ran back, and because he started to get like an overwhelming feeling of dread. He started to feel like, oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. So
the dread would have come like.
I'd have been there way beyond, but this is when it really started to set. And again, confirmed skeptic. He doesn't believe in this shit. He's seeing it. And he's like, no, I don't believe it. But we got to get the fuck out of here. So he runs back to the car and he tells Betty, I think we're about to be captured. We got to go.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
This is a precarious situation.
This could go either way. I'm not sure their intentions, but I got a vibe. And you know what? That's something to listen to. Like, you get a vibe about some shit. I mean, honestly, if you see some, you know what? weirdwidepodcast@gmail.com. If you're standing there and you see an alien ship and it starts doing some weird shit and the alien's just like telepathically at you like, hey man, just chill. Just let us do our thing. Just let it happen. What y'all doing? Everyone at home, let us know.
But you have to remember, the aliens are seeing you. You're
You're the kitty.
the kid. Yeah, you're the saber-toothed tiger, and they're
Lollipop.
just seeing you. Listen, I'm team alien. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
They're
It's
just
okay.
trying
I'm
to
gonna be
make
the
friends.
Siamese cat in the corner, like, fuck you, bitches.
Like,
You're gonna tell me to do this, so I'm gonna do the opposite, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
bite your ass.
I'm not doing it.
I'm
No.
still spitting.
No.
I'm gonna be with the aliens and be like, come on, it's okay. It's
You're like, no, dude,
fine."
it's totally cool. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
though, if you were up there and like you were like, no, it's cool. Like, they're a cool vibe. They're a cool hang.
I would not believe you.
You haven't steered me wrong yet.
Nah, I wouldn't believe her. She's willing to pet all kinds of weird shit. I'm
That
out.
is true.
That's
That
true.
is true.
That's true.
No.
And I
Wow.
have really, really bad judgment.
No, you wouldn't say.
I'm self-aware of it, at least.
That's true.
Oh, that's
Unless
true.
there's something to pet, and then like it just like the overwhelming urge just takes over you.
Yeah, because it's so cute, and most of the stuff have whiskers. And
That's
like,
true. Whiskers are pretty cute.
Men
they
have
get me.
whiskers too. Are you petting men?
Sometimes. Like,
Ew.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love
if
it.
they go, pss, pss, and I go, pss, 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 I'm
Dude,
like,
if some dude
"Aw."
comes up to you at the bar, it goes, pss, 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 nah.
Okay, so
I'd
this
be
one
like, what
time,
the
low
fuck?
key.
Only if he has a red beard.
Okay.
Then
So
he
yeah,
can-
some red bearded ginger, just
Mm.
beautiful slab of man meat just walks up to you at the bar.
Then he
and just-
wouldn't even need to.
Anything.
But he still
He
but he
can-
does the
I'll be like,
You're like, I'm gonna fucking pet that.
yes.
hold my beer.
Literally.
Okay.
Back to
Back
it.
on track.
Back on track. Back on track. We are doing good this episode. I got.
I know. We're
Yeah.
staying on track.
I
Yay,
love
guys.
it. I love it. Go us. Everybody take a moment. Pat on the back. Pat on the back.
Yay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So Barney gets back to the car. He's like, I think we're about to get captured. We got to go. And they fucking book it out of there. They fucking just start flying down the road, but the thing starts coming after them. They are literally like, no, this is happening. Like, I'm so sorry. And then
We chose you, like,
we get what we want.
yeah, we're like literally superior beings.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you're
sorry.
coming with us.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
We're not sorry. So they are like flying down the road. This thing is chasing them, and they're going for a little while, and then all of a sudden, from their trunk, they start hearing like this weird buzzing. Like it was like a rhythmic, like buzzing, kind of like low frequency, like noise coming from the trunk.
I think that's the part that was actually like when because I relive these stories, like I'm
Yeah.
like imagining that's the part where I would start getting scared.
Yeah, because
The
like
rest
you're
of it, I'm fine.
well,
But
because
that,
you're like your means of
That's
getting
the
the
line.
fuck out is like
Yes.
now it's starting to be affected by something.
yes, they're fucking with it.
Yeah. Which
They're on
is
a whole new level, and I
Mhm.
don't know what to do at that point.
exactly
Like,
like
you can
what's
talk
the
to me in
backup?
my brain.
Yeah.
You can have your little spaceship being all like, meow. Once you start fucking with my car,
Yeah. We got a
Scared.
problem.
yes.
Well, I'm
Especially
glad.
because it's like spooky in the middle of the night in the woods. Like,
Mhm.
don't
And,
turn off
like,
the lights.
Also, let's also just remember, let's take a moment to remember like where they are mentally. This is after a lovely trip to 1960s Niagara Falls. Before it got lame, like it's like they went and they had a beautiful 3-day weekend before, and they are on their way home from that. So they should have
It's
been like
still not
riding-
lame.
Well, okay,
It's
but you
still
know,
not
like,
even lame.
it was like,
But, like-
it was a spiritual experience back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I-
as touristy.
Exactly, that's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't as touristy. So like that's the mindset they were like. They should have been on this like lovely, but like when you've had a really good like little like long weekend trip, and you're like, and you finally pull in, and like you get your own bed, you're back to your own bed, and like you just like it just like hugs you. That's what they were supposed to be dealing with. Said they're dealing with this fucking thing.
They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. This low frequency like buzzing sound starts coming from the trunk, and this is the weird part because I feel like I get like It seems like there's a bunch of different reports of what happens next, but it seems like what happened next was they kind of just blacked out for
Yeah.
what they only thought was like a minute. But when they came to, they were 35 miles down the road. Their watches were busted, and there was something else going on. What else was going on with
There was something else going on. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
Yeah, there was something else, but it was like it was like hours later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like super in the future.
Yeah, like
Wasn't it
way,
like in the morning or like the next day or something?
yeah, because like it started off around 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in there, probably around, I want to say around 11:30 is when it all really started to get to a head. And then it was like 2:30 in the morning when they
Yeah.
came to 35 miles down the road.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like that's another one that I'm like, what the hell? Because everybody has the time when they're like, I don't even remember driving to work this morning.
Right. I had
But,
that
like,
this morning.
Yeah. But like imagine that like on a whole different level. Like a minute goes
Mhm.
by, you don't remember literally anything.
And that's another, it's a hallmark of the abduction phenomenon of where like this like massive swaths of time are just lost. Like again, going back to Travis Walton, like it was days that he was up there, but he only remembers a couple hours.
Which that makes me wonder if it's like, because a lot of people are like, it's the aliens doing something. They're
Mhm.
flashing the little bright light like Men in Black or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's a trauma response.
That's true too. I wonder if
To
it's
completely, yeah. I have definitely gone back and forth with it
Mhm.
because that is 110% a trauma response to
Yeah.
completely black out. And this is something that, your mind, especially for a skeptic,
Yeah.
this is something that like your mind can't even necessarily wrap itself
Process.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you either start making stuff up in your head
Hmm.
or you just forget it.
Yeah.
Which is why like people go through therapies for like
Mhm.
trauma like this all the time to kind of like dig that out because like it's still causing you issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, total trauma response.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I bet it's because like it's there's no way any situation like this is going to be without trauma. There's trauma
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
they
Especially
fucking
if you land on the top of
terrifying.
an IHOP with your coot hanging out.
Exactly.
I can't. What was that
SNL.
reference? Yeah. I was gonna say, you guys even told me what it was, and I don't know the reference.
I don't think I was dealing with the top brass. So
They playing with my knockers like this.
I fucking love it. So they get home and they're feeling weird as shit, obviously. Like it was one of those things where they're kind of like, what the fuck just happened? And they started to both have like weird like idiosyncrasies that started to happen. Like the luggage that she would keep like had to keep it in a specific corner of the house. Would not let it, like if somebody moved it, she's like moving it right back. There was like the binoculars were busted, or not busted. The strap was broken. There was like, I think there was like a dress that she had that she was like, I'm never fucking wearing this again.
Didn't the dress ended up getting there was something on it?
Yeah.
And that was Matt was actually talking about that. He had a piece of it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. He does.
Yeah, he showed us.
Yeah.
There was something on the dress. I can't remember if they couldn't determine what it was or if they did determine. I can't remember.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, there was like I think it was like a pink, like dusty substance.
Yeah. And they were super concerned with being contaminated because, like, again, we're in the middle of Cold War America. Like, nuclear, like, if you go back to before Bethany Ashley joined, where I was doing the show solo, the episode with very early about nuclear stuff. Like, in the 60s, we were well into nuclear paranoia. So, like, contamination, radioactivity was a very big concern for them. That was, like, their main thing.
Yeah, and now who knows what happens. And you have to, because you're gonna still gaslight yourself. You know what happened, but you're gonna gaslight yourself. Like, what was this?
Barney was like a master at gaslighting himself. Like he was literally over here, like he knows it happened. And he's like, we're not fucking talking about this. I don't. And she wanted to talk about it. She wanted to like go deal with it.
Women
like,
always want to talk about it.
he was just like, I don't want to say shit, because like
Typical man.
well, careers get ruined over this kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff. Like
Oh, yeah.
entire lives do get ruined. Like
Yeah.
Especially back then.
exactly. Like nowadays it's not as bad, but like nowadays you're gonna get a series. Like you're gonna get
Right.
like, yeah, or you're gonna get a podcast that's sponsored by
And-
some big company. Back then, your shit was fucked.
Right. And like even now coming out with stuff like this, these stories, like, yeah, you get like there's a show where people talk about you on a podcast.
Yeah.
But people are still like this fucking weirdo. But that's like the most. That's the most that it is. Back then, you had to find a different town.
Yeah, literally.
You have to hide.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I feel him. I
Yeah.
feel him on that one.
Yeah. So the next day, like they noticed there was like weird spots on the car, and that was another thing. There was like, what was it, about like a half a dozen? There was like a dozen little. Like, he said it looked like they had been polished, like really finely, and apparently, like this is where it gets fuzzy for me, because like they knew somebody that was in the Air Force, which is kind of convenient for the story. I will admit. I'll admit that's a little, but again, that's back when like, I mean, they were in an affluent like area of the world. Like they were in New Hampshire, they were in a good neighborhood. So they go to their neighbor and they're like, you know, hey, what do you think? And he tells them to take a compass and go and like put it near it. He's like, he was concerned about like a magnetic field, because when they got there, it should have gone north, but when they got it near the spots, it just started like, it was just flying.
The spots on the car?
Scary.
No, the compass.
When they got the compass near what?
Near the spots on the car.
That's what it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's honestly, that is, I think the visual of just having like a spinning compass would fuck with me, because that's never a good. I don't see a lot of movies, but I've seen enough movies to know that that's a bad thing.
Yeah. All right. So take the lead on us for the second half there
Yeah. So the part that is okay. So the part that I really dive into with this one is the hypnosis.
Yes.
They want under to have the regression and to really see. So they didn't get much from Barney.
Yeah, he was very withholding.
He was roadblocked.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I guess so. The response that they got from him was more of like more trauma.
Very terror based.
Yeah. And he just kept talking about the eyes.
Yeah. Because we're talking about the Greys, so like we should take a minute to like describe the Grey, like the alien, because we say the Greys, we know what the Greys are, but if you're watching on YouTube, it's the classic almond shaped, like the big eyes, no hair, little slit mouth, like the classic alien. That's what we're dealing with, and the eyes were what he locked in on.
The eyes.
Have you heard his the recording? He is
I honestly,
What?
I thought about listening to it, but then after I read the reaction, I was like, no, that honestly sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I almost wish that it wasn't something that you could just go listen to, because that is a very, very personal moment in the worst way possible.
And this is again how like, you know, like your life is like kind of fucked up by a situation like this, because again, like you said, this very personal moment is just put out there. You can go listen to it right now. Yeah.
Betty, however,
there was a gold mine of information from Betty.
Yeah. So she was like, this is what I remember.
Yeah.
And she remembers,
she got the lieutenants.
Yeah,
she got the top brass.
Yeah, she did.
She was doing something right.
Yeah, man.
She said they were separated.
Mm-hmm. That's a common theme with that too. When it's like two people, so they always separate them.
Yeah, which understandable. I always think of it as like, okay, what if we were studying, pick an animal, right?
Chimps.
Yeah,
we don't keep chimps in the same cage.
Right. We're gonna take them. So they have them, get naked as a jaybird, and they take them to these metal slab tables. They do a full physical. They they take samples. They look at everything. But then she started talking about how there was, I guess, some sort of like a discussion
Yeah.
that she had with one of these aliens.
Yeah. They were super friendly to her.
Yeah, they were chill. Well, like he's like panicking, being like,
Well, that almost makes you wonder if the aliens are racist.
I doubt that they're racist, but they're probably fucking annoyed as shit with them. Like, shut up.
It's like, can you
for sure.
Definitely, but it's like, can you
No.
stop fucking screaming? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
We
and then
told you to
Betty's-
come to the chopper, and
And
you
you-
didn't.
and you
Right.
didn't, so we had to do it this way.
Yeah.
And then
so
Betty's all like, "Hey guys, what you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm the Betty. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are we doing here, guys?
Get naked? Absolutely. Cool.
Yeah, let's go.
See what happens
Now
when you
it's a
cooperate with your
party.
captors?
Right. So the part that is just completely amazing to me
Mhm.
is they were talking, where they're from, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But in her hypnosis,
Mhm.
she makes out this is what gives me goosebumps. I'm getting them right
Every
now.
time. Every time.
Every time she draws out like this star map, right? And it makes no fucking sense. So
Right.
like, what is this? Until people really start to study it, and they come to the realization that
Like, they got
this is-
astronomers on it.
Yeah. They got like the professionals.
Yeah.
And they realize that this star map is a star map if you were on a planet
Mhm.
that is orbiting the Zeta Reticuli star
Mhm.
system.
Yep. Star
And
system.
'cause-
Yep.
Yeah, because it's two, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because like the sun and its adjacent stuff is the system.
Yeah.
So it's like if you were on the planet there looking out.
Yeah, and that's the kind of like that's not something that just people know.
No. You can't just like draw an accurate star map that
Yeah.
astrophysicists are over here like, that is a thing, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
That's not some random shit.
That's the part that, like, honestly, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And every story that I read, I'm skeptical because I think it's really healthy,
Yeah.
especially in this little field, to have a
Even
nice little
though
amount of skepticism.
I want to believe.
Exactly.
But still, you're right. You're right.
It because people are going to make up stories,
Of course.
or people do see things,
Mhm.
whether they're there or not. People
Right.
still see things, and that's why I always, But anyways,
Mhm. That's also, by the way, that's where the because gray aliens are also known as the Zeta Reticulans. That's
Mhm.
where that comes from. Because of this star map that Betty
this
drew
star
up.
map, yep, and it's and honestly, that's where it's like, okay, we're on to something.
Yeah.
I feel I think I remember reading where she had actually done the hypnotic regression several times.
Yeah. It wasn't just one time. It was a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah, it was.
But aren't you not supposed to do that though? Like, you're not supposed to do it.
I don't know. I feel like by then it was like the mid to late 60s. I don't know if they knew what was good. I think they still thought cigarettes were good for you back then.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, I got a great weight loss supplement for you.
Light up. It's toasted.
Are you having issues with your pregnancy? Let's get some cigarettes.
Smoke up. They're good for
Yeah.
you.
Hell yeah.
Different
That's-
times.
Yeah. Back in the day when you still got cocaine in your Coca-Cola.
Oh, what
That was a good time.
yeah,
I don't
that's-
actually think that one. I think that one's way sooner than that. But
It
still.
I think, yeah. But still, that's how we built this country.
Yeah.
We built this
Yeah.
country on cocaine.
Forget rock
America.
and roll.
That's right. That's right. Rock and roll happened because of cocaine. Like,
That's
Exactly.
right.
Thank you, Coca-Cola.
how do we get a sponsorship from Coke?
Yeah, cocaine or Coca-Cola?
Both.
Either both.
Them drug lords be like watching the podcast, like, I think we got some.
We got a new sponsorship. So, of course, this is like changed her life.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And it's to the point. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But it goes along the thought that like people in the same family are
Mhm.
targeted, because I think it's their niece.
The niece is very into it. She's like the vocal
niece
one
is-
now.
Yeah. And I
Is she
think
saying that she got like picked up?
Has she had any
Or-
experiences?
I feel like she's had a few experiences. I don't know if she's ever been picked up. I
But
Yeah, that one I can't remember, and I'd have to actually look back.
Yeah.
I did. That's kind of a part that I didn't like go back and like reread my notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's super into it, and I think there's a few different family members that have had different little experiences. I know. I want to say I want to say that Barney was super not about any of it afterwards. He didn't like any of this.
He hated it.
Yeah.
He
Did they
despised
stay
it.
together?
They stayed together.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Until he actually he died only a few years after. It wasn't long.
Yeah.
It was like somewhere in the 70s. He died of a stroke, I think.
Oh, well, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
If
that's
he was
what
that traumatized by it.
that's the thing
yeah.
is I don't think he ever really took the time to process it. I think Betty, because Betty lasted until like 2004.
Yeah, hers was
Oh,
a
wow.
lot more recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is such a bummer. Like
Yeah.
because
We say that it's more recent, but you realize
It's
that's
literally
like 20 years ago.
It doesn't feel like it, but it's
I
like 20
refuse
years
it.
ago. I know.
I refuse it.
Time isn't real. Fuck time.
time is not. Time is a man-made construct.
That's right. Damn the man.
Damn the man. You know what? Screw the patriarchy.
That's right.
Y'all made the time, and that's why I was late today.
You were you got here on time.
I was early for being late.
You were late and early.
I was both.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
got
whatever
some
works for you.
skills. It does. I'm going.
There's that sarcasm.
I am going to gaslight myself.
If you're
It's a
gaslighting
break.
positively, though, it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll go with
Okay,
that. We'll go with
with that.
Yeah.
We don't need anybody correcting us in the comments
Nah,
either.
nah. But yeah,
Because-
Barney was like he didn't like it changed his life, and he was never the same.
Yeah, it was a thing where he was just nah.
But
It was
could you be?
I don't know if you can.
No.
I don't think you can be.
honestly though. So last November I had met Travis Walton. He seems so chill. Like he was just like, oh yeah,
I remember that. I remember
I
the
got
text. That was
abducted.
amazing.
that
That was amazing.
I'm trying to get coffee and I can't function because Travis Walton is behind me. And I don't know what
I'm
to
over
do.
here just like having my morning coffee in my living room, like, go fucking talk to him. I know I'm
I
scared.
can't. I was too. I was like, I couldn't get breakfast. Once I realized like who is
Yeah.
right, just chilling right over there at the Continental Breakfast at the hotel,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I can't even get coffee. This is neat.
Travis Walton definitely has a special place in the Weirdoverse for sure.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
should be our mascot.
He should be. He's a mountain man too, so he's rough and tumble.
Yeah.
Red beard.
Dark, brunette.
Nope, I'm
No,
out.
no, he's ginger.
Is he a
What?
ginger?
He's a ginger.
Have I only seen black and white pictures?
You may have, because it kind of took me off guard too, because I was like, wait, he's a ginger? He's a ginger.
Oh shit. He's an older gentleman too.
Yeah, he is distinguished.
That's right. Travis better be careful.
Yeah.
There's a cougar on the loose over here.
Ugh. They were just burped.
I love
Sorry,
it. Back on
guys.
track. Back to Betty and Barney.
I also, you know what? I also chopped my hair off in a manic episode today,
Yeah.
so just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
But no, it's honestly, it's one of my favorite
Same.
cases just because of it obviously in the time people are like, oh, these fucking Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
But like in reality, it's almost like it paved the way.
Yeah. This was
For
one of the
people
big
to-
ones.
Yeah.
I would say like Roswell was the first one that really like kicked
Yeah.
off the thought pattern, and then this was the one that really like solidified like the alien abduction phenomenon as a phenomenon in America. A lot of skeptics do say that there was like a similar episode what was it of The Outer Limits that was on sort of like right before. So like a lot of people do say it was
Oh, the radio
Yeah.
broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of people say that, but I don't know. I'm in the camp that I believe they were taken.
Yeah. This is one where I definitely there are stories that I hear. I'm like, maybe not. This
Yeah.
one, yeah. Yeah. And it's the star map. for me.
That's the big one for me.
That's what does it
it's
for
the
me.
Zeta Reticuli star map that really brings it home for me, because everything else is just like, you know, anybody can say that, but
Yeah.
like, because it's one of the most well documented like cases and most well substantiated ones. Like, you know, with
Mhm.
the buzz UFO picked up by radar, the star map, it all kind of just lines up. There was
The
a couple,
dress.
the dress, all this different stuff, really does line up to put me in the belief camp.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely 110% believe that this is a thing that these people
hmm
dealt with. And it's sad because, you know, they were just trying to enjoy their
They were
honeymoon.
just trying to have a good
And
time and a little getaway.
for Barney, it ruined his life.
Yeah.
For Betty, probably also ruined her life,
Well,
even
she
though
did. I know she
she
got
kind
on
of
the
turned it into a
yeah.
positive.
She got
Like,
on the UFO circuit later on,
yeah,
but I don't think
but
that circuit would have existed without her.
yeah, it and it sucks because, you know, when you're in that position,
Mhm.
even if you are like the person that really gets the ball rolling,
Yeah.
like that part really kind of sucks,
Yeah.
you know, the getting it rolling.
But
And, you
again,
know,
that's like you said, taking a negative, turning it into a positive.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a sad, but I can't think of the right word, but like a hopeful
Yeah.
for anyone else that's dealing with it, because, you know, it is
Yeah.
creating this world where people can talk more
Yeah.
freely about these weird experiences,
Yeah.
because there's weird shit that's happening
Yeah.
absolutely in this world, and people
You got to
haven't
be
been
the
able to
voice.
talk about
You
it
got to
until
voice it.
recently.
You got to
Yeah.
voice it. You got like Betty helped pave the way. Because if it weren't for her nagging about it,
Yeah.
this story would have been buried.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And now there's a plaque on that highway, which I really want to go see.
We need to go see that.
I know.
How far away is New Hampshire?
Oh, it's a minute. It's a minute.
That's fair.
I know Salem is like 7.5 hours.
It's not too
So
bad.
that's like my gauge.
Okay. We can take a
Yeah.
train.
I'm not getting on a train.
Wow.
Listen,
Okay.
so
I'm gonna get
watched
on a
this-
train. I don't give a fuck.
Bye. I'm gonna drive
I'm
there.
gonna get on a
stop
fucking
it.
UFO, but fuck this train.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
the. Well, okay. Have you ever seen Sex in the City? There's this one episode where they get like a super deluxe package, and the shower is over the toilet. No, I
Well,
cannot.
I
No.
mean, but if it's just, I don't know.
No. I want
don't
to
know.
take my car, be able to stop at Starbucks.
That's fair. That's fair.
Eat a cheeseburger.
That's fair.
Like,
All right. That's fair.
There's totally a cat at my door. It has to be, because it's sketching me the fuck out.
I
dude.
love it. Well, we're about to wrap up here.
And it's like,
and
I'm just like-
Spooky's definitely outside my door.
once I open this one,
Oh, yeah.
probably a horde of
Chaos.
kittens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, we want to know what you think. So, like, because there's a lot of different opinions about this particular case. So, if you want to let us know your thoughts on it, email the show, weirdwidepodcast@gmail.com. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you get new episode notifications. You can go onto our website, www.weirdwide.com. That is our official home on the interwebs. You can subscribe to our newsletter, get episodes sent directly to you. I did finally get some of that updated, so Ashley's information is up there. Playing around with the logo a little bit, so you might notice like a couple little changes. So we're liking all that. Make sure to check us out on TikTok and Insta at Weird Wide Pod. Anything else I'm forgetting with that? Oh, leave us a review. Make sure leave us a review. And then if you want to follow me, just me personally, I am on TikTok and Insta as Dudist Weirdo. Where can everybody find the two of you?
I am on Instagram and on TikTok at bethany.gets.weird.
I'm on both at Weird Ash Chick 86.
I still like that one.
I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one. So don't forget, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling sleepy, get yourself a little bit of Dubby energy. It is cleaner burning energy, doesn't have any of the chemicals or the red dyes or any of that nonsense. I do the Hydro Boost every morning. It's great. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling myself. And if you want to get 10% off, you're going to use our code Weirdo1. It's going to get you 10% off of that. Tune in next week. We got some fun next week. Do we want to actually say who we're doing, or do we want to just like Let it.
No, say it.
All right. Next week we are doing. I think this is the first serial killer that we've done. I don't even know if you actually consider him a serial killer. I don't know if it's counts high enough, but we are doing Ed Gein.
Spooky. This one's gonna be a spooky one.
He's one of my faves.
Yeah, he's one of the ones he inspired like so many
So much
fictional
stuff.
Yeah, so many fictional.
I think that's where it really starts weirding me out. Is like
Hannibal Lecter was inspired,
and I love
Texas
that movie.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. So
Psycho. Norman
all,
Bates was.
so
Oh,
much
really?
of that. Oh,
I
yes.
didn't know Psycho was.
So much that was inspired by Ed. He was a sick fuck. So we're gonna get into that next week. So make sure to join us for that. Until then, tell your friends. Like help join. Help grow this little cult that we're putting together here.
It's a good cult.
Speaking of which,
we're not going to kill you.
Needs a cult name.
She does. I'm the wizard of the Weirdoverse.
I'm the Barbara.
What are you?
The
Ashley?
Barbara?
Yeah.
We're putting you on the spot. What are you?
You on the spot right now. Who are you in the cult? You need a cult name.
You need a cult title.
I don't know.
You know what? weirdwidepodcast@gmail.com. What?
Tune in next week to find out.
Tune in next week to find out. Exactly.
Sarcastic death.
Jesus.
I love it. Well, and speaking of love, we love you all. Make sure to tune in next week. Again, we're getting our fucking face cut on. Till then, stay weird.